Welcome back, Cop Squad. We're here. It's me, your girl, Vanessa. I'm here with Keeks. I'm here with Jedi Mike, who is new this season. We're adding some more diverse perspectives. And by diverse, I mean straight. Woo! Very excited. I'm so excited to welcome you. How are you guys both doing? Keeks, update us on your life. How's it going?
Oh, everything's great. I've been on vacation and now I'm ready to roll back into work and get started with some civic engagement lunches.
Yeah. How's it going with you? I know you've been covering Creature Commandos with Andy and Phil. So how have you been? I'm sure the people are excited to see you again.
Yeah, no, things are going good. In terms of like the press side, things are growing. I wrote my first article a month ago, so and stuff like that. I would never do that ever. Yeah. So, but yeah, things are we got things planned to come up for 2025. So yeah, I'm glad to be here.
Yay. We're excited to have all of us together. I mean, this is the 5th season of this podcast, this show, and we have had so many iterations since the first season, and it's exciting. Every season we have a new kind of crew, new ideas, and I actually really am excited that we have Mike here, especially because this is like Metropolis focused season. We have Superman and Lois and the whole super family, so I'm excited to dive into episode 1 of season 5 of Harley Quinn. As far as DC news goes, there's been a lot going on. I don't know if you watched the Superman trailer. You guys can go check that out. We have recaps, trailer breakdowns, all kinds of stuff. We are covering Superman from all angles, all over a multiverse of colors. So definitely check out our coverage over there. Creature Commandos is still going on, and it will be ending in a couple weeks. I don't know, but I assume some point
next week. It'll be the last week, or by the time it's recording, the show's already over.
That's what I thought. I think they're like balancing them out so that they're like one after another, which makes sense. So yeah, just keep an eye. We'll keep you updated on any news. We'll be recording this. We're recording this a little early, but that is exciting I'm excited to dive into this first episode. If you guys don't know, the girls are moving to Metropolis this season. I don't know if you guys remember the events of the last. Who remembers the events of the last season? I know there was like a thing going on. Could someone I know Bruce got arrested. Does anyone remember what happened at the end of last season?
I totally draw a blank.
I'm kicking myself because I did mean to rewatch it and that didn't happen. But I do remember that Dick's body was stolen, and I think we were seeing him get dropped into a Lazarus pit.
Yes, that's true. Yes, you're right. Yeah. Oh, okay. Sorry, y'all. I should have double checked this, but yeah, I remember Bruce getting arrested. Joker was mayor. There was a lot of stuff happened last season that, which to me made the last season feel a little bit more stretched thin. So I'm excited about this season because it feels like it's gotten new life in it, and we'll talk about that in the first episode. You guys, what do you think of it overall? Michael, you.
I thought it was good, kind of bringing into the world of not only just in Metropolis, but also just in terms of the new stage that Harley and Ivy are in terms of their new relationship, and honestly, relatable, especially like coming from someone who's married. It's like you get comfortable in a position in life and stuff, and then you're thinking, hey, it will feel like are we losing a spark or whatever, and then the other person's like, no, we fine, can we just chill, chill at home, whatever. I definitely see relatable, but I think it's also nice just to have those type of themes in relationships in different facets, even in this type of relationship with Harley and Ivy, because again, that's what, regardless of everybody can relate to it at some point if you're in a relationship. And I think that it's good to see that through a different lens, but still seem organic and seem real, and that goes to the writing of it. Again, it just seemed natural. The comedy aspect, you're looking around the room when they're just bored and it's all a mess around the bedroom and stuff, and you're eating food in bed, like, yep, been there yesterday. But it's what I'm saying. It's like it was just nice to see that again, and also with characters that I love. But in Metropolis, it's like, again, I think obviously they're leading to the realm of preparing us for Superman for July. But again, it's also highlights maybe some world things too, where it's like some people might think Superman's boring. It's like, oh yeah, we we don't need you, whatever, we got, stuff. And and then you go to him like, well, I don't matter anymore, or whatever, right? Because we had Superman in terms of pop culture has had a very complicated, ups and downs, throughout 20 years or so. So now before we bring him back into the main center stage and stuff. So I think they kind of set the groundwork for creating this new adventure that they're going on and moving into Metropolis and stuff. But yeah, I thought it was a decent episode.
Keeks, what about you? What do you think of it overall?
Yeah, overall, I loved it. I thought it was a great return to form with just nonstop bits left and right. My brain was overloaded. You gotta like pay attention because there's something in every scene, which I love. But just like Jedi Mike said, they continue to build on their relationship. I love the way that they tell their story because oftentimes in these shows you see just a minor inconvenience and then they're breaking up, or like it's an issue the entire season. But the way their relationships are written, they are handling their issues as they come. I think we saw Harley evolve and stop eternalizing things, and Poison Ivy is communicating more, and we're just seeing more of that this season. I'm so excited to see where it goes.
Yeah, I agree with you. It's healthy. Despite the fact that they're insane, they have a pretty healthy relationship. Like, I think that's really nice that like Harley doesn't want them to like be too stuck in doing the same routine over and over again. And Ivy's like, well, no, I like that. That's nice for us. Like our lives are literally insane. And so I think that's sweet that they balance each other out a little bit, because you're right. Especially in the DC world, CW, like it's constant keeping secrets from each other. It's constantly not communicating, and like it's so annoying. And these are adults. Like this is an adult cartoon. Like we can communicate. Most people know how to communicate, right? So I actually I've said it before. Like the last couple seasons for me have been a little bit too focused on the Bat family. And while I understand that Poison Ivy and Harley Quinn are Bat characters, they have grown so much bigger than that. Like we've had Harley in movies without Batman. I would love to see more live action Poison Ivy, but these two characters don't necessarily need to be tied down to Batman anymore, or tied to Batman anymore. Like, with that being said, we did see Bruce in this episode, but I like that he wasn't Batman. He was Bruce. So that was, this felt like refreshed. I don't know. It feels good. It feels like someone freshly squeezed juice. Like it just like, it's nice. It's funny as hell too. There were so many funny moments. But we also had so many Easter eggs and like things, new characters. We got a tidbit that Joker got impeached for paralyzing Babs, who is now Oracle, who helped form the Gotham City Sirens. So that happened briefly. So let's talk about that, which I was excited to see, even just for a little bit. What did you guys think, Keenan?
Babs, there's 4. I'm here. She's like, you cannot be doing this without me. I'm sorry. You need me here. Do not discredit me. I'm out.
I love her. What do you think, Mike?
Yeah, I was just because again I totally forgot the recap of season 4, so I'm like, did I miss this? Like, last time I remember, like, yeah, Barbara was walking. It's like, so I just didn't know. But then, but I'm glad there's some things again that they do that's based on comics, but also for the theme and the, I guess, core heart of this show. They don't have to just show that. Did I kind of take this, to a extremely dark turn? Yes, dark things happen in this, in this show, but I mean, at least it's just like, hey, we don't have to, because especially with Killing Joke, especially like between like the women and all that stuff, like they don't really need to go down. We already know the history, and so I'm glad they acknowledged it, moved past it, and here we are, and again, that's what go back to the writing, and just like, don't treat like the fans like we're idiots. We know what happens. We read comics. We know what's going on. But also, again, just seeing that dynamic between also with the with Catwoman as well. Again, sometimes like girl teams, again, they gonna have issues with each other. It's like, nope, I'm out, peace, and so but it's just realistic, like, okay, we don't need you, we got each other, so we fine, and then one person being left out of the team and stuff like that. Now whether we'll see down the line if they reform as no more threats come and they can just go to Metropolis and stuff like that, then yeah, I would love to see that. But yeah, I just thought, like, in terms of how they're again, to your point, moving away from Bat Family, because again, this is a point of knowing where a character is, but also know where they're going. Again, it's understanding, but also having respect to know that, hey, if you have good writing, a good foundation for these characters to stand on their own, and enough meat where it's like, I don't care if Batman's not in this episode or any Batman family related characters are in it, just have give me a great character, a great chemistry and dialogue and stuff, and then they were able to do that to get us to point of 5 seasons. So to have that, it's all right. We've been down this road, we've done No Man's Land, we've done all that. Okay, now what? Let's move away. So, and then go to somewhere else in the world of DC. So, and while we interact with other different comic related characters and Easter eggs and stuff, because there's a ton of it in this first episode. So, but yeah.
Yeah, let's name them. Lena Luthor. Bruce Wayne is dating Lena Luthor. Eclipso was made a very brief appearance.
I was like,
very brief.
When they were like the demon in the necklace, I go, is that? No, they're not going to do that. And
they did. We saw June
he was gone.
Enchantress, yes, Enchantress, which was then she had the necklace, and then they were. So that's one of the things they're searching. They formed the Sirens to search for Dick's body, which is still apparently missing. So that's something I assume we'll find out later on in the season. Enchantress, Lena Luthor, Eclipso, Brainiac. This is insane to me. I don't know how this is going to be done in this universe because Brainiac is a pretty he's smart, so I am excited and curious to see how this version of Brainiac, it sounds like he's been just from what we watched, it seems like he's created these robots. We see these robots that are essentially cleaning up the crime and getting everything perfect, that his plan is to perfect Metropolis and essentially make Superman redundant, which we see that is Superman's storyline this season. So before we get into that, what did we think about Lena Luthor and Bruce Wayne and the other Enchantress, Eclipso? Before we get into the Brainiac stuff, what do you guys think?
I love the cameos. The cameos always make me happy. The Lena Luthor stuff, I'm like, that's a setup. That's a setup. She might even be like a oh my God, why can't his name just slipped my Brainiac, like a Brainiac plant.
Yeah,
like,
Justice League Unlimited.
Because it seems like she's controlling those robots, or the robots are responding to her.
And she's the one saying everything's fine. Everything is all fine. Perfect.
So and she might just be working with him, as we've seen that kind of thing before. So
yeah. What about you, Mike?
Yeah, I think it was like when I was looking, first of all, having Lena Luthor there take you back to again Superman, Smallville, and all that stuff. Some of these characters you don't really see, live action, at least or even animated for a while, and they bring back characters and mythos and stuff. But also seem organic. Like, yeah, Luthor locked in jail, but yet you can still have the influence there because we're in Metropolis and have his, have his sister there. It makes perfect sense. And, again, on a writing standpoint, people can be like, oh, here's a female version of Lex Luthor. No, they went through this whole arc of Lex Luthor, and now he is in jail. And now, hey, we're in Metropolis. We got to have Luthor here somewhere. Have Lena Luthor expand that, just like with Superman and Lois, they brought his daughter and other aspects of there. You're expanding it to make this story more personal, and stuff like that, right? And to have again to have Brainiac and have those influence, we are seeing seeds being planted, but also we just watch hey, this is too good to be true, just like a perfect utopia city. Where's the you come from the worst of worst, which is Gotham City, which I love the the diss of it. But for it's like the ghetto or something.
Everybody was burning Gotham. Everybody was burning Gotham. Everybody.
So like Gotham pits. I was like, oh my God. Yeah, I love the dichotomy, the difference between the dystopia of Gotham and the utopia, so-called utopia of Metropolis. It makes sense because that's kind of like how it's always been in the comics, and every iteration, Metropolis is the city of tomorrow. It's perfect, crime-free, clean because of Superman. But then the realization that Superman isn't the reason why this city is crime-free and clean. It's because of Brainiac's spots, which I don't think people realize are Brainiacs. I think they just think they're the city's Lena Luthor's thing. What do we think about Brainiac being involved in this as the villain? He seems to be the overall villain of this season, I feel like. So what do we think about Brainiac being the villain of a Harley Quinn show?
This is interesting to see how they're going to do it just without Superman. But I mean, Harley's not dumb. And then Poison Ivy's a genius. So I'm hoping that we're going to seeing them work with someone to deal with all this stuff, because we can already see that Brainiac does not like greenery from the end of that episode.
Yeah, well, or maybe, I don't know, some trying to find a weakness or something in Poison Ivy or something like that. Listen, the fact that they were able to get to Darkseid and New Gods and all that stuff with parademons and everything, at this point, anything's off the table. And I'm just like, the fact that we're able to execute one of like the top cosmic beings in the DC universe and those storylines and stuff, and then get to another being and two as well. Like it makes no sense for this show that they're able that's that type of character is not too grand for this show. And which is why, again, I like to get to 5 seasons of a Harley Quinn show. You think again, it's gonna get run down, but if you're viewing her limited, then yes, there will be a cap in terms of the potential of the story. But here, I think the fact that we have Brainiac here, like, yeah, that's like the next big thing you would do, aside from like getting to like multiverse stuff, with the Anti-Monitor or something like that, that which I don't even know how they even get, if I don't know, if whenever they end this show or something like that, but that'd be something that'd be hilarious. But yeah, I thought the way they're doing it and planting seeds for him, I think again it makes sense, and especially in Metropolis.
Yes, I agree. What did you guys? I feel like some of the fans are going to complain about Eclipso being dispatched so easily by Harley. What are you?
If they're mad about that in season 5 of this show, they need to go somewhere and sit down. Because this is how that show would have handled Eclipso.
Yeah. Right. It's true. That's the show. I know. She just beheaded him with a bat. What did you think, Mike? What do you think? Do you care?
No, I really don't. And I mean, that was one of the things I wasn't really a fan of in that Stargirl TV show. Was it Stargirl on CW? I mean, yeah. They played it out and whatever. Okay. That's the only last time I remember Eclipso like involved like mainstream media. But the two is also just like similar to what James Gunn, what he wants to do in terms of having the world of a DC universe be massive, like a universe where there might be things that that for comic readers, like, oh yeah, I know what that is and stuff, right? But yet it can just be something that just get thrown away, or just something on the side, like, hey, this exists, this happens, but also this is not the main point of the story. And that what happens when you have toys and stuff in your disposal, but also realizing, hey, this is a universe. One of our strong points of the show is that we can have cameos, Easter eggs, like even in Superman museum, we saw different Superman outfits and stuff like that, right? Different kryptonites, from comics, but that's for us to do. Oh yeah, I see that there. And but at the same time, like, we have a main story, we know where we're going here, we have a direction, and yet this plot point, if we see other writers and different shows might make this another side plot to make it all convoluted. Like, no, it's just there and then it's disposable. But again, I'm not mad at Eclipso. I'm glad they just tied in, especially with Chantress. Like, we don't know where she's at. We're just right.
I know. I love that. I think it's fun because that way it gives us more characters to play with. Like, we don't need a whole episode of Eclipso menacing the girls. Like, we don't need all that. I think it was fun to use them, and then it just validated and highlighted the fact that Superman can't can't do anything else in his city. Like, but yeah, let's talk about the museum real quick. We saw all the suits. We saw Superman blue. We saw the Nazi Superman, the double S, which is crazy. Like, there's quite a few. The Rebirth Superman with the black and silver. I thought that was interesting that, like, in this established universe, all of that shit has happened to him. Which is crazy. Yeah. So any comments on that, on the museum scene at all? Any of the stuff that we saw?
I was waiting to see Kellex or something, or like other but for a second I didn't know those were Lena Luthor's bots. I thought they were just Superman bots, and I'm like, oh yeah, and one of them probably was Kellex or something like that. But then when you're saying, oh no, that was Lena Luthor, like, oh no, that's some Brainiac and stuff and everything. But that's what I thought in the museum. That was his arsenal, or technology and stuff like that. So that's what I thought. But then But then I saw how it played out and see with the 3 dots and stuff. Like, oh, okay, yeah.
I thought originally I was like, oh well, I guess these are like Calyx bots, and then I was like, no, those are 3 dots. We should know by now what those 3 dots mean.
That's his branding. That's the Brainiac branding. As soon as I was like, oh.
I know, brand recognition.
Exactly.
Right.
So we have at the very end, we have like basically Lena. I'm starting to question her motives, because if Brainiac's thing is to keep Metropolis perfect, why does Lena keep introducing crazy things to, like, wouldn't the first thing be like, get out of Gotham or get out of Metropolis? But then she hires Poison Ivy to do a greenery project, which was pretty cool. I thought the scene was gorgeous. The like scene where Poison Ivy kind of like erupted the greenery space and like made it like really, really pretty. And then we see later on that the Brainiac bots got rid of them. And then Harley's like, we got a condo, and Bruce is a terrible real estate person. So I am excited to see how this season goes. But if you guys have any thoughts about the last, Lena hiring Ivy and her motives, I know you guys think that she's working with Brainiac, but I don't know. I don't know yet. Any other thoughts on that?
I did write down.
It's too good to be true.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Yeah, that's all I
wrote down. This is a scheme. But now, as I'm looking back, I'm like, is she trying to find a way to defeat him? Like, oh, I'm going to work with him for all this technology. Oops, that was a bad idea. Let me figure out how to fix it.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, Lex and Brainiac have historically worked together in the past constantly. Actually, in the comics currently, in the Superman Action comics, Lex lost his memories. And he has a daughter named Lena Luthor. So in the comics universe, she's his daughter, and she's like part Brainiac. So like she has like the signature 3 dots. So she's like part human, part Lex's DNA. And that man cannot stop. Anyway, he just loves to mix DNA with aliens. But regardless, he has his daughter Lena is actually a Brainiac hybrid. I think I might be misremembering it. Don't come at me if you. But I remember seeing her face, like so anyway, that's actually, it's interesting that, that's, I'm wondering where this, this relationship with, if there is any with Lena and Brainiac, and how that ties in. If we're going to see Lex again, I assume she's going to talk to him in prison at some point. We're going to have a phone call. What other characters do you think we're going to see this season?
Like Red X. I mean, that's the big one for me. Like for Teen Titans, like something I grew up with. It's like, if anything, I'm thinking that might be Dick. In terms of because that would make sense. Because in the Teen Titans show, there was also speculation that if that was we know Dick Grayson, that was Robin, and then Red X, we never knew what their identity was until Dick took the costume and stuff, and then someone else. Yeah. But everyone thought it was probably Jason Todd or something. But the fact that they in this show clearly established, like, we got Damian Wayne, we got Dick Grayson, we got Barbara and stuff. So, but the fact that they're giving a Jason storyline of putting him in the Lazarus pit and stuff, it only makes sense to say, hey, you have creative liberty to make it Red X. That's to me just what I saw. So, but yeah,
so interesting. I didn't even consider that.
I can't remember. Have we seen the Red Hood on this show?
No, Jason has not.
No, Jason hasn't been.
Jason is not. So there is a possibility that he could be pulled in as well. We don't know, but that's a really good point. What about you, Keenan? Do you think who do you want to see this season? Who you think is we'll see this season based on the city change?
I know that all ghouls are tied typically to the Gotham stories, but I'd like to see. Was it Talia? Was Talia in the last show?
Talia? Last season? I don't remember.
Yeah, I can't remember who.
yes, I think so. Okay. Right? Talia was in the last season because the Legion of Doom thing. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So I mean, I would love to see her again, and I feel like she and Lena would have a great scene together.
Okay.
Because they are both bosses.
Yeah, that would be interesting. Actually, love that. Oh, by the way, Lena Luthor is played by Aisha Tyler. I don't know if there's any other new cast members that we have this season. I think we have the same. Natalie Morales is Lois Lane, which we've seen her before. So yeah, I think that's all of the all of the newer characters. But yeah, we obviously saw Jimmy. We'll see the rest of the, hopefully see the rest of the Daily Planet. I'm excited to see if we're in Metropolis. I want to see more of the Super family. I want to see Supergirl. I want to see Superboy, whether that's John or Connell. I prefer to see Connell. I want to see, we saw Crypto. So of course we saw Crypto. Crypto is like the star of the Superman trailer. So of course he's going to be in every bit of branding that we get, every little show, everything. So that's, we'll see more Crypto, I assume. But yeah. Any other thoughts on this episode? I don't know if there's anything. I think we covered everything. Oh, one thing I wanted to call out was that was funny. Harley had this turned on her therapist mode, talked to Clark because he talked to Superman because he's going through his existential crisis. She's like, you're in a rut, take a sabbatical. Like, he basically, let me go to a sabbatical. That's great, I've never been. And he's like, I'm gonna take my friend Clark Kent with me. And why not? Because he's the most awkward goober in the planet, and I love him. I actually really enjoyed their portrayal of Superman so much. He is sweet and he's very goober, like dweeb, and with strong. When you have a superhero like that and they're like very intimidating looking, I want them to be complete total sweethearts and very endearing, because that is balance. And I think this version of Superman is actually really very appealing to me. But yeah, she says to Poison Ivy later, I think that Superman is cheating on Lois with Clark Kent, because they're never seen in a room together. So, and I think that's hilarious. And I think that's a great way to see how these two gay girls are just like, oh, they're not the same person. They're clearly dating, because that's like, if Superman was in real life and this was all happening in real life, there would be Clark Kent and Superman shippers. Like, there would be. People wouldn't know. But this is like real life. So I think that's sweet.
True.
That was a fun, clever thing to put in, because it's also like, they're both smart people. They're very smart people. So how would they not figure this out? So I think that's a smart way to show that they're like a little bit more biased, and that they're like, oh, they're gay. Of course they're gay. In that, instead of being like, maybe they're the same person. That makes more sense. But yeah. Anyway, I thought that was a really funny moment. I don't know if you guys have any thoughts on that.
I thought that was hilarious. Oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
Well, I thought that was hilarious, which means that we know now that Lois and Clark are not dating at the moment, right?
Like Superman and Lois are, yeah, I guess so. That's what I'm hearing.
With him being, I love that. I think that's hilarious. But I had a thought, and I'm like, what if we see like Steel and a Connell, like a Reign of the Superman kind of thing?
I would love to see that.
Oh yeah, because
that's what I was waiting for. I was waiting to see at least like maybe Steel's. Probably been a shot of Steel's costume probably in there. I saw one outfit like that was standing there. I was like, I'm like, is that Steel? But it was just too quick. I got to go look back at the episode. But like, yeah, that I would love to see that. Because it's almost the same thing what they did with Bruce. I think was it season 2, season 3, when you thought he was Batman was dead, and then everybody else was coming up to the scene in Gotham City. So like to have that for Superman and have your a Connor and then all that stuff, like, hey, that'd be interesting. Yeah,
I think we will I honestly do think we will see that, because it happened in Superman and Lois. A version of that happened in Superman and Lois. So I can see that being a thing. And maybe I'm being too big brain about this. Maybe this is all a tease for an end shot in the Superman movie where we see the family. I don't know. Maybe they're setting us up over bits and pieces to feature the Super family. Is that a lot? I mean, I know Supergirl's going to be in the movie, but I'm so excited. Anyway, I'm going to spend every episode talking about Superman, the movie. Sorry.
I'm excited for this movie.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're going to wrap this episode up. Where can we, before we go, where can we find you guys? Keenan?
You can find me on Instagram at Geeks on Camera. The O and on is a 0.
Where can we find you, Jedi Mike?
You can find me on YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, and all socials at Jedi Mike 7, and link right or at the tag right here. So yeah. Mm-hmm.
Cool. You can find me at Vanessa Shark on everything. Instagram, Blue Sky. I'm more active on. I'm not on Twitter anymore. I'm trying not, unless it's like Multiversal Color stuff. Writing for Multiversal Color, covering Harley Quinn and all Superman related stuff. So check us out, www.multiversalcolor.com. You can follow us on all of our platforms at Multiversal Color, at TC Studio Podcast. Thanks guys. Until next time.